what up everybody? It's your boy Darnell and I want to welcome you to another episode here on AZI TV. We got some special guests out of Houston and another special guest that actually lives here. Can you please introduce yourselves?
How's everybody doing today? I'm Richard Prather from Houston, Texas, via Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I am Diana Zhao, live here in Phoenix, originally from Nairobi, Kenya.
Oh, okay, you from Kenya?
Yeah.
You didn't say that. That's how you got the jersey?
No, that's Nigeria.
Oh, dang.
Wow.
Dang, I'm gonna go ahead.
Opposite sides of the continent.
Hey, shoot. Listen, I went to a public school. You know?
Oh, okay.
But man, before we jump into it, man, how you been, man? How was the flight?
Flight was great. It was a little choppy coming out of Houston, but it was pretty good. You know, you gotta come over that mountain, and you come into Phoenix. You gotta come over that mountain. It's a little choppy over there, but after that, it was great. It was a good flight. Okay, so man, how did you guys meet? We met actually in college, New Mexico
Yes.
State University in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and as a reference point, it's about 40 minutes from El Paso, Texas.
Okay. And so, what do you do for a living?
So I'm what you call a career education specialist. So I teach youth and administrators on how to, well, let me put it this way. I'm a career education specialist. I work with youth, middle school and high school students, helping them figure out what their lifestyle will cost for 1 year on their own. So we calculate the cost of a house, car, kids, insurance, anything you want that would be an adult setting. And then we have a price tag at the end. So they learn how to pick a career based on that number.
Okay.
And then I also do training and development for the educators, so they can be able to teach it with their students, because I can't see everybody, you know. So I want that secret to be for everybody. I don't want it to be a best kept secret. I want everybody to have it. So we do training for administrators as well.
Got you. And then what about you, Miss Lady?
I'm a financial consultant or relationship manager at a company called Vanguard, where I help clients reach their financial goals.
Okay. So I love it. Now that we did the introduction, let's just jump right into it. You know what I mean? What are you doing in Phoenix? Tell the people, man.
I don't know. I have to get the name of it. You gotta pause this now.
Well, before we jump into that, I'm gonna let you guys know I met this man was it last year or the year before?
It was, I'm gonna say 2019, because 2020 I wasn't here because of COVID.
Okay, so we'll say
2019.
2019 I met him, and he came with three other friends, and the two of them were playing in the polo tournament that's going to be going down this Saturday, tomorrow, at Westworld. So that's when I met him. Cool people, man. I'm super excited. And I never heard of black polo people until I got introduced to you guys. So, man, please tell the people real quick, man, how did you get into polo?
So, like I said earlier, I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I belong to a program called Work to Ride. Work to Ride is a nonprofit organization, 501c3, and what they do is, instead of using basketball, soccer, or football, we use horses as a way to reach inner city youth. And so every Saturday, every Friday, depending on what day of the week the student had, they had to come up after school and clean their horse by, picking the poop out the stall and feeding the horse and bathing if they need to, and all kinds of stuff, medication, and then after that, somewhere along the line, they would get a free riding lesson at the end of the day. So the founder, Leslie Heiner, started the Work to Ride program back in 1994, and she herself didn't play polo until about, maybe 1997, I think she got into it. And then, of course, I wanted to learn what that was about. But our horse program was very unique in Philadelphia. Most horse programs are a lot of female, but this one was all male. And the demographics of Philadelphia at the time were 87% African American. So most of the students that were in the program were African American male. So as we started practicing playing, it started whispering around that I think that might be the only black team I ever seen. And sure enough, that's how I got the title of being part of the first all-African-American polo team in the United States.
Wow, in the history of the United States.
Yes.
Wow.
All right now.
All right, let's give it up for him real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Right.
understand. So how does that make you feel in being an African American man that can now turn around and do that same thing for your fellow urban community?
Well, I've always had a great sense of giving back to the community, but it's, polo is a very expensive sport. Unless you are in a program like Work to Ride, where everything is donated, equipment is donated, horses are donated, truck and trailer. People often pay our fees to get into things because they want this charity to be successful. If you're not a part of that, it's very difficult to do that on one's own. So one of the things I do is try to help students figure out what their career is going to look like. Because if you have a successful career, you can afford to do the stuff that we do. Where am I going with this?
Give back. I think you're trying to talk about giving back and helping others.
Right. So my way of giving back is not necessarily through polo. I think polo and horses is a great opportunity to capture someone's attention that you may not have caught before. But then one of the things about Work to Ride, it's a huge thing, is education. So the students have to come up and have to have a B average or better. They have to do tutoring and that kind of thing. So that's the opportunity where I get to say, hey, what does your lifestyle look like for your life going forward? Because if you want to continue playing polo or doing anything with horses, you need to know this is very expensive. You got your personal life to take care of, and then you have these other things you want to take care of. So that's my way of giving back, to help them figure out what their career pathway should look like.
So do you have your own horse?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
So you just borrow horses?
I do. I ride well enough that I can, people allow me to ride their horses and play in some games.
So you ever rode a horse where it was broken or where it was green?
Yeah, so in my earlier days, I used to, train polo ponies off the racetrack. That wasn't a lot of fun. I didn't want to go in that direction because you could easily get bucked off and get hurt. There was a couple of horses. There was one horse in particular. Her name was Figamajig. And she broke my ankle. We fell together. We've had a lot of run-ins with just trying to help her understand. Because, a horse that comes off the racetrack is not used to something swinging past her face like the mallet. So she would freak out every time. So you have to constantly do that to get her used to it. And if you're not ready, she can spin on a dime and you'll be on the ground. So there was a lot of trial and error, I should say.
Wow.
But yeah, so to answer your question, I've ridden, we call them green horses. Just means that they're not used to the polo world, or they're not used to being ridden or ridden a certain way. So a lot of horses are using 2 reins, and polo you have to use 1 hand, right? Sorry, I said that wrong. Most disciplines you have to ride with both hands, rein in each hand. With polo you have to ride with 1 rein, 2 reins in 1 hand, and then you swing with the mallet. So horse has to learn the neck rein, and that's very difficult because you're putting pressure this way, they go this way, pressure on this way. Whereas if you do like levers, the horse knows if you pull that way, it's gonna go that way. Do this, but when you do like this, the horse is confused. And we turn my head and look up at you, so it's kind of confusing. So it's a lot of challenging things you gotta know about the psychology of a horse and how they learn. But like I said, a lot of trial and error. But I was successful, but I knew that was not what I wanted to continue to do because it's dangerous as well.
Gotcha. So as you move forward in your, curiousness of polo, you kind of built a relationship with the polo, correct?
So in my world, polo was something I wanted to do, but until I realized that I'm so far behind in terms of trying to become one of the best polo players in the world. So I had to find a different angle, and in polo, oftentimes I'm usually the only black face around. So I couldn't relate to a lot of people that were like me in this sport. Then I couldn't relate to the people that were running the sport because most of them had money. I didn't have money. So I was always the groom or the help in the situation. So I wanted to find a better way to make this work. So one of the strategies I used was, you know what? I'm going to move to Mexico. I'm going to learn to speak Spanish. And that way I come back, I can be able to talk to people. Because either you had a lot of money and could pull the strings, or you were from Argentina or somewhere that spoke Spanish and played polo. Because a lot of people are great players are from Argentina, and so my strategy was like, okay, let me become friends with some of these Argentine pros, and maybe they'll be able to put me up because now I can communicate with them. But it didn't quite work out that way. My Spanish worked out fine, but my ability to pay bills didn't. So I had to get a job, and then slowly but surely I was sucked out of the polo world because it just didn't pay enough for the work I was putting in to sustain myself. So what was the original question?
How did you build a relationship with polo? You basically let us know how you did it, man.
Wait, he's gonna edit all this. That's okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
Right, we can do this.
I'm gonna edit it. Don't worry. So, and how long have you been doing polo for?
I guess now, man, I'm old. 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 20 years.
And so I see the jersey that's on your back.
Yeah.
Kind of tell us where polo has taken you, where you thought you'd never go.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I've had the unique opportunity to play around the world, actually. My first international game was in England. I went there for school, actually, and I met a gentleman who was an umpire in a game I played in D.C. And I said, hey, I'm going to be in England in the fall. He remembered me. He looked me up and said, come play in this tournament. I said, okay, here I come. So I ended up being able to play in England for the first time. And then the second time I got to play was in Nigeria, several times actually. And this is the jersey, the actual jersey that I won in, or wore and won in. And later I got to play in Argentina as well, representing the U.S.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So 3 countries that I got to play in.
Wow. What was the experience like for you?
So the first one, England, was, the rules are a little different. So the British rules are slightly different than the American rules. Not by much, but there's some things you can't do. And so you're so used to playing it one way. I constantly kept getting called out on the foul because like that's not what we do. I'm like, oh, I got to remember that. So, but that experience was a lot of fun just because the horses were very much push button and the field was so immaculate. But it rained a lot there, so a lot of the horses had like these little metal studs, so they wouldn't slip on the fields. So that's something we're not accustomed to in the U.S., but that's what they do out there. And then when they're done, they just unscrew them, take them out with the horse in the stall. So that's an interesting thing I didn't realize. Argentina, man, it was just, I was not prepared for it. Like literally the ball has hit, everybody's already going in the direction, I'm still trying to turn around. Like I just wasn't prepared for how quick it was. But maybe by the third chucker, I was like, okay, I got it. And so I was picking it up, but their horses are amazing. They spend so much time getting these horses to be push button response. It was amazing. In Nigeria, we rode what they have is called Sudanese horses, and they were a little different. They were shorter, they were a little stockier, and they weren't. Their responses weren't the same as we're used to in the U.S. Like the horse could literally be, throw its head down while it's running, or it's a little more. I don't want to use the word rambunctious. What do I want to say?
We are rambunctious people.
Okay, great. So it was just it took a couple of chuckers for me to realize, okay, these horses are going to be this, they're going to do this, so I need to make sure that I am better prepared. So that's the thing about riding other people's horses. You have to be able to get used to the horse quickly. Like you can't, because the game is going. So that's the first time you're riding a horse, and every horse has a personality like a person. They could love you, they could hate you. It just depends on the horse. The horse could be tired, don't want to deal with you, or it could be like, let's go, I want to run. So you have to quickly figure out what you have underneath you, and then be able to adjust to it right away in order to be able to, do well at the game and ride well at the same time. So, and I think these horses just used to being ridden really hard and fast, and so we were trying to be proper with the horse, like have proper seating, and so it's you're not pounding on its back. But I think they weren't used to us not, the horses weren't used to the fact that we were going to ride them nice, and so they were just confused. I think they were like, "You're doing this kind of nice," and, so you're not going to go harder. So we had to constantly check them up because they were going too fast. Because how they ride in Nigeria, they balls to the wall. They're out. Like haul ass. Can I say that?
Yeah, you can.
Haul ass all day, and it's like, no, we trying to take our time. We trying to make sure we get this play right. But so every place you go and ride, it's got their little unique quirks to them. So, but you got to be able to get it right. So I say overall, my experiences with all the 3 places were unique, but they were a lot of fun in the end. I did fall off though, and broke my. Well, I didn't break, but I severely bruised my shoulder. Went for this nice neck shot, and the horse turned at the same time, so we ended up slipping and sliding on the red dirt. Yeah.
Wow.
But I got up and finished the game, but my shoulder was out for the next year and a half, I think.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
moving forward, now you came to Arizona 2 years ago for the polo event out here. You guys won, right?
I don't remember if we won or not.
I remember that game you won. I don't know how many games in the tournament you played, but
It would have been
that
2
game.
games.
I think you won.
That
I
we
think
were
you told me
there.
you won.
So we won that game.
Okay.
Yeah.
As my memory serves me, and my counsel,
His old memory. But yes,
I think so.
I do remember you guys winning.
Yeah, so we won.
Okay. So how was your experience at that polo event 2 years ago?
It was great. You know, we've been to several events like that in different parts of the country, so it was pretty much on par with what we understood. The thing was, I think that was an exhibition match. It wasn't a full, because it should be 4-on-4, and we were 3-on-3, and so it was one of those things where it's just getting people to know that there are African Americans that play polo, people of color that play polo, and it was just one of those things where they were, they invited us out to show the people that what's out there in polo.
So how did they find you guys?
It's not hard. We're kind of all over the media.
I know that's right.
So, I mean, in the polo world, if you're not involved in the polo world, you would think, how did you find out? But in the polo world, it's a small knit community. So the moment you hear someone like, oh, there's all black team, that spreads like wildfire. So eventually, everybody's like, oh, we want to see that. Invite them out. So I mean, that's one of the reasons why we got invited to Nigeria several times, is because we were all black team, and they were like, oh, let's play this all black team from America versus our, Nigerian team, and there was no team from Kenya, so they were too scared. They heard we were coming. They said they bowed out. So
I just want to let y'all know again that she is from Kenya. So that's why she's looking at him crazy when it said no black team.
They're already black in Nigeria.
I didn't say black. I said, what did I say? Let's play the tape back. I said Nigerian team. That's what I said. I didn't say black. I said we were the black team.
No, you said you're the only black team. You're the only black team out there.
That's true.
That's what I was like.
Black American.
Oh, okay.
Why did you say something?
I did.
I'm not editing none of this out, just let you know.
Oh, yeah. We were the only black American team out there.
Got you. So last year there was really no polo events going on because of COVID.
Yep. Everything was canceled.
So how did you keep your skills up? I mean, you say you don't own a horse yourself. You don't, but you're working with this program. So how did you, keep your skills sharpened?
So anywhere I travel to, I try to get myself on a horse. Regardless of if it's a pandemic or not, horses need to be exercised, fed, and taken care of. And there's never enough help in the horse world, barns and stuff. So as soon as you say you want to ride or help out, people are like, yeah, come on, let's go. Here's a horse, let's go. So that's pretty simple and straightforward. But I'm out on the horse all the time. So I work full time. So what I try to do is I swim, I work out, I try to eat healthy, so that way I can keep my stamina going, and that way when I am playing, if I get the opportunity to play, at least I won't be winded. At least I'll be able to keep up. So that's some of the things that I do, and there's specific exercises you can do with my legs to try to keep my legs strong, so that when I ride a horse, it should be pretty straightforward. Not to say I won't get sore, because I will be sore the next day. So it's usually that's how it goes. Sore leg, sore back.
So now out here, again, we got the polo event happening tomorrow, but you're not playing in it, correct?
No, I'm just gonna be as a spectator this time around,
Okay.
and then just enjoy it. We didn't have the opportunity to be in. What am I trying to say? We were not fortunate enough to be invited this time around.
Okay. Because they went with another team, correct?
Yeah, they went with a different team. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Which is fine. Hey, look,
Yeah,
sometimes
absolutely.
you got to give everybody an opportunity, but you're doing something unique
Mm-hmm.
out here. Because you said you couldn't miss the opportunity, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're doing something unique out here. Can you kind of explain what that is?
Yeah, so I'm going to be working. I have a unique opportunity to work with Robertson Ranch. They have a bunch of youth that are. I don't know how I say this politically correct. They work with youth with disabilities, and so I'm going to have an opportunity to work with them tomorrow at a private ranch and help them see what polo's like. So I'm going to give them a little clinic, if you will, and see what they think about it. Get them to hold some mallets, hit some balls around on horses. So that should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. On Sunday.
On
This is
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yes.
Sunday.
So that's happening Sunday at what time? 10 o'clock, correct?
I think so. Around 10 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we'll put the information up for you guys to see. And again, if you guys see this too late, then we'll definitely put videos up of, you know, his workshop that he did. And then definitely if they needed to get a hold of you, they need to talk to you, if they want to connect with you, bring you back out, how would they do that?
So easily they can just hit me up on my Instagram. It's Polo4E. So it's Polo, P-O-L-O, the number 4, the letter E.
Okay, perfect. Well, I mean, again, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you sitting alongside them. And look, if people need financial advice from you, if people need to know how to budget, how to save, people need to know how to grow their money, how would they be able to get a hold of you?
You can't.
Oh.
But no, honestly, if you have questions or people need help and guidance just learning about investments and taking steps for their financial future, give Vanguard a call and would be able to help just start talking to you about what you need to do and steps you can take to get there.
I love it. Well, look, we're going to tap into her some more, man, on another interview, man. But I just had to get these two here because, again, I feel like we've grown a good friendship over a year and a half, even though he doesn't answer the phone unless it comes to polo time. But
Not true.
Very true.
Not true.
She got one down, everybody. It's your boy Darnell, and I want to thank you so much for coming on here and watching the interview. If you can, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Arizona Informant TV, where you will get all the latest content, all the updated information, and all the latest news. So again, please subscribe to the channel, and we will see you soon.